believe me, not forgotten, believe me.
Mr. Mayor, could you suggest to him how important that bonding bill is?
Well, it's like winning the Super Bowl, that's how important it really is. You know?
So the phone calls are important.
Yeah.
We've been waiting on that bonding bill for over a year.
Yeah. Senator Dowd and the rest of them, anything you can do, I mean, email, call. He's a House member, I'm sorry,
Senator Benson.
Senator Benson.
Senator Benson, thank you, Sarah, thank you. I don't want to elevate him too high yet. Anyways, so yeah, anything you can do is going to help. Better than coming from you than from me, because they'll get bored talking to me. And so, thank you for that. Anybody else at all? Yeah, please come up.
I'm going under the same thing Roger Wall, my address house here was 27 Girl SU. Okay, why did we have the two rate hikes?
Well, I tell you, you know, what I've learned, dwelling in the past doesn't do us any good. I'm not trying to make excuses here, okay? We sat in the same seat you did for almost 2 years before we got up here, okay? And we ran on just that. Do I think things could have been done differently? Yes, I do. I ran on that, so do these gentlemen run on that.
But you guys there's people here that's been here a long time, they should be able to tell us why the rate hikes are up.
The three of us here were,
The three of us are new to it. I mean, we were before this, you know, there's been a couple council members involved from the past. Like I say, the key to a mistake is what you do when you have the mistake. You learn from it not to repeat it, or you tend not to learn anything and keep repeating it. A mistake was made, there's no doubt about it in my mind, and from what we've ran on, the three members here that are new. And from what I gather in campaigning, what I've heard from the public. So could it have been done differently? Yes. 2 years later now, there's a line on 22 from the Met region that wasn't there 2 years ago, but it's there now. We already have the standalone system, so we're a little late to that game on that one. But we're going to try to see if we can maybe partner this plant down the road, if that's possible. That's why we're working with the Met Council. But we're not, I'll put it like this, we're not leaving any stone unturned. We're doing all the due diligence we can. We're looking at every avenue and every way we can to get these rates down, and that's a fact.
The big thing that you got to understand, we got an awful lot of retired people here that are living from month to month.
Yep.
And when we get a statement like this and we get a raise like that, now it's going to be depending on, are we going to be able to afford to water our lawn or keep a nice lawn or eat?
exactly.
Okay, well, let me, Mr. Mayor, can I,
Please, go ahead.
I guess, I'll speak for what I can recall. So, I'm the bad guy, I was on the council before these three. You have to go back, and this is even before my time, I came in, I was elected in November of 14. I think if you want, the basic decision to raise your rates would have been the spring of 15. I believe we were discussing the fee schedule in around the March time frame, and then it was the May time frame. We had the packed houses here, and we had the presentations that walked through. I think we were, because basically the increase in the rates need to pay for the wastewater treatment plant, and at least we can break even getting water out of the ground and distributing it to people. I mean, that's, in essence, up until 2014, there was hardly any rate hikes whatsoever. I mean, it was go back to 2008 and the economic downturn in that time frame, and councils at that time were not, they did not want to raise water rates, didn't want to raise sewer rates. So things pretty much stayed the same for a long period of time, if I remember it. I came on the council in 14. So part of the rate hike is to catch up with the basic rates. We weren't breaking even with providing that service. So we had to do something at some point in time. And that kind of came to a head when the decision was made to go forward with the new wastewater treatment plant. I believe in around the 2012 time frame is when the report, or when the engineer's report is generated that looks at some different options, and they point to a new wastewater treatment plant. Is that roughly the time frame, I think? So you kind of have to go back a little ways. There's the wastewater treatment plant that we have over here was out of capacity. We couldn't hook up. We had builders built out all of the neighborhoods we had platted, like the neighborhood that's north of the county park.
Bluffs.
The bluffs, the developments that we had on the books that builders could come in today and start putting houses on. We couldn't have hooked them all up with the wastewater treatment plant that we had. We were putting too much stuff into Sealy Brook. I can't remember what the measurable quantities are, but in one of those May council meetings, If you want to go back and look at the minutes, we had somebody from the MPCA, it was MPCA, right? Here to help clarify some of the infractions we were doing. I mean, there were some things we were putting,
Might have been June 1st of 15.
yeah, it was some in that late spring time frame. I mean, we were putting 400% more of something than we were supposed to Sealy Brook. So that plant was broken. It was spitting out stuff it shouldn't. It was over capacity. Something needed to be done. So the council's back in the 2012 timeframe, commissioned the engineer to go do this report and to look at different things that range from, kind of, I'll say, a Band-Aid approach of, living with what we have to go build a new one. At the time, it did not look an awful lot into the Met Council option. That was their, I believe some conversations took place earlier than when that report was generated. But basically, the council at that time decided to go forward with a new plan. The $26 million is what the bill is right now.
24 and then.
A $24 million plan that's spread across however number of users we have here in the city. That's why your rates went up. To catch up with rate hikes that never happened, and we've got to go pay for that thing. So that's all.
Maybe we should stop expanding. If we can't get enough money from the expansion to pay for all these upgrades, and now we have to go to these big increases, maybe we should quit expanding.
No, and like the mayor said, we hear you. Could things have been done differently? Hindsight's 20/20. The information that we had at the time on the council, we knew we were making a tough decision, but something had to be done. That plant was not going to, get us to where we, as a council at the time, thought we needed to be. We can't just dig a moat around this place and say that's it, and whatever we put into Sealy Brook, the Rum River's just going to have to deal with. That wasn't an option. We chose the option to go forward with a new plant. And what comes with that is a price tag. So now we're trying to deal with that. Like the mayor said, we're trying to see if there's options with the Met Council. We've now got a community development director on board, so we can try to get people to be more proactive and get people to come here, get businesses to come here. Because if you want your rates to come down, that thing's online. It will be online. We have to pay for it. You got to get more people using the services. You want to see the rates come down. Like the mayor alluded to, it's what we were trying to do. We recognize it's not easy, but we had a tough decision we had to make back in that time frame, and that's what we chose to do. And it wasn't popular, but we didn't. With the information we had, that was the best choice we thought we could make. So that's how we got to where we are today.
And
my 2 cents.
I'd just like to add too that with my research before I ran, and I worked close with Steve and Rob here in the, prior to the election. Everything that I found, it's not one administration, it's not two, it's multiple years of not doing anything and kind of letting it fall to where it was, in my opinion. And you've mentioned we shouldn't expand if we can't expand, and I agree with you 100%. Had you raised the rates and had the money saved to buy what you needed, that's one way to do it, to run it like a household, and I agree with that way to do things. At this point, we have to expand because we have to pay for it, and the thing is now built. It's there now. There's nothing we can do to change it, which is unfortunate, but we have to pay for it. So now we have to expand. We have to bring more people in, bring businesses in order to pay for that, to help get the rates down too. And it's not an easy thing to attract somebody when the rates are that high. If I came from, I grew up in Coon Rapids with the Met Council, and $80 for 3 months was normal. I came out here and it was $65 a month 10 years ago when I moved out here. And I was like, whoa, that's $65 for 1 month. Learning about having a standalone facility that's going to cost more is one thing, but to have your rates basically double, within that time frame, and I got a full house. And I'm at about 150 a month. It's insane.
I wanted to add some other things to this, by the way. Mike, want to come up again?
Rich, I'd like to ask you a question. Do you think you and the rest of the well and septic people would be opposed to a fee to help out these elderly folks?
Not really. Because we've got bills too. I mean,
You use the city facilities, correct?
Yes.
I get,
So
when I go
you're part of
shopping,
this community, I think all of you are.
Mr. Mayor, if we're gonna have somebody speak,
Right.
we're gonna need them at the mic.
You need to be at the mic. Okay. You know, I want to say some things here, because this goes back to how we ran and the reason that we ran. First of all, I want to preempt this by saying, I don't believe any past council here had any ill intent on their way of governing, okay? But their formal way of governing to our formal way of governing is a whole different ballgame, okay? Planning without preparation is worthless, okay? Planning got us here because there was no preparation to get us here, okay? There's a line here, like I said, in the last 2 years, it just dead ends on Viking at 22. That line was not there 2 years ago. Had the past councils taken the time once they were listed as a carryover under the IUP plan from the state, they could have taken up to 2 years to look at other options and rebid the project. They chose not to do that. I won't fault them for that, but they should have taken the blinders off and looked at other options. They did not. We brought that to their attention, the three of us, as we were running. We saw nothing, okay? Now, we're stuck with this situation. From 1990 to 2010, there was a population burst here of over 4,680 people. At that time was the time to gradually raise rates and then get prepared for this down the road. They did not do that then. They had certain times that they could have made the changes. They did not. And I'm not specifically, pointing at one council versus another council. The price on the wastewater treatment facility had gone up a number of times in monetary value. That should have put a red flag up there. I'm getting a smirk from some gentleman in the audience right now that was on the past council, and you know what I'm saying is true. Okay? I will say to you this, that have mistakes been made? Yes. This council here, this new council, you voted us and elected us in to do due diligence, research, and leave no stone unturned, and that's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to try to fix this and solve this problem, because I realize as a mayor myself, and when I campaign, I am worried about losing the residents we have. I want to retain them and bring new residents in. I don't want to see this town, in my opinion. I moved out here because it's rural and that nice rural effect out here and living in not an overpopulated area. I myself, and I've talked to other residents when I campaign, don't want to see this town get up to 50,000 people. I wouldn't mind seeing it to be a 10,000 population town where we can thrive and enjoy and have things come about and afford it. But we have to put the brakes on what we're spending. We have to spend our money wisely, and that's what our intent was. Everything we promised to do on the campaign trail, as far as openness, transparency, and accountability, is what we're doing here, okay? But you have to have some patience here in the sense that this problem did not happen overnight. As Shelley here is sitting here from Riverbank, that problem's been going on for 30 years. What my point is this: if you see a problem, you have to confront the problem, because the longer you don't confront it, the bigger the problem gets, and that's what's happened here. So do we want to correct it? Yes. Again, if I had a wand, and if you could get me one on eBay or Amazon, I'd love it, but you can't. So I'm factual, I'm realistic, and I'm honest. And all I can say to you is we are on top of this. Please, just be patient. I'm not expecting you to pay this forever and ever and ever. I don't want to pay it forever and ever. But we are stuck with this. We are in communication again with the Met Council to see if we can work some roundabout, like a type of thing of partnering with other cities. I've talked to other mayors from other cities for the future here, but nothing's going to happen overnight. I can guarantee you that. But do we understand the problem? Yes, we do. But like I say again, to put the blame game on the past councils, it won't do any good. It won't make that thing any easier. It's just what we're going to do forward. We've seen a problem, we're going to correct it and move forward and make it better. I'm not just giving you lip service. Please believe that. I'm not doing lip service. I sat in that area where you're sitting right now for almost 2 years and listened to the same stuff. Believe me, we're not lip service here. We are action, okay? And I want to thank you again for coming forth and putting your voice out. That's a good thing. Anybody else have anything to say about this? Okay. Moving on, we're going to go to administrator's report. Anything, Joe?
No report, Your Honor.
Okay. Community development quarterly report.
Yep, Mayor and Council, this is the first report I've given you this year. Represents the first 3 months with the 16 permits. Permits are ramping up very quickly for new construction and exterior work, decks, sheds, that type of item. And also people are out, so we are starting to receive calls about neighborhood concerns, parking, junk, and debris, and we'll start addressing those. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Rich? How are the permits, the building permits, compared this time this year to last year?
We are very ahead of last year. Last year we had a total of about 37 for the year, and what I have on my desk will probably make us about 30 already.
Very good. All right, Thank you, Kate. Council member reports? Joe?
I guess as of now, I could reiterate, the fact that we want to get these water rates down. It's not going to make anybody feel better, until we can get them down. As far as Pioneer Days coming up, there's something on the St. Francis Facebook page, looking for volunteers. I told them I'd keep telling people to try to get on there and volunteer, so people that can help out for that. Other than that, I've been pretty busy with work, so.
Rob?
Well, as your city council ISD 15 liaison, the school board is having a bond referendum on May 23rd, so you should get out and vote. Look up on ISD 15, figure out how much your taxes are going to go up, and get out and vote. For or against. That's all I have.
Just be informed.
Rich?
I got two things. I think Kate kind of alluded to, now that the weather's getting nice, I think there's probably, we're going to see some more phone calls from people. I guess I would just encourage people to be good neighbors. And, now that you're, how should I say it? Your kids don't need to be on their mini bikes 16 hours a day. Now it is nice out. Be good neighbors. And I'm sure there's other things, and now that the weather's getting nice and people want to enjoy their decks and everything else, it's like a lot of topics. We've talked about dogs here the last couple times. Be good neighbors. And that includes a lot of things, whether it's dogs or it's immobile vehicles parked in driveways, or it's, some of your other hobbies that, yeah, you're allowed to do them if you have your 2.5 acre lot or your 5 acre lot, but be a little considerate of the people, that are still, within earshot of your residents. I think your neighbors would appreciate it. And the only other thing I had is, are we still on a path to do a work session next week?
Yes.
April 10th. Okay. I don't know what your agenda looks like, but one thing, and I was debating whether I was going to speak up in new business, or maybe you can just take an action item, we can talk about it, but we ought to maybe talk about the merits of, should we try to get on a path of maybe trying to cancel the first meeting in July, which is the Monday right before 4th of July, which is Tuesday?
Yeah, that's going to be an work session.
Okay, all right, good. Otherwise, that's all I have.
Okay. All right, well, a couple things here. I had an email from Lisa Ron from the ISD 15, who says that she's got all the information, I understand, that's factual on the bonding issue that they're trying to put forth. I understand from Sarah Udvix, who's in the audience, that that's already been out. I've emailed Lisa to give us the facts now as they stand, and we will put them on our Facebook page and our city website. So, because I think it's important for you to know all the facts before you make a vote. I wish they would have done this beforehand. There's been so much, rumor mills have been going crazy on the Facebook pages and all this as far as what's being done. We've had meetings with them, and even since that meeting, things have been changed. So we're going to try to get you the information out here to the best of our ability so that you know what is exactly going on. So when you make that vote, it'll be an intelligent vote. And as far as our website, we are in the midst of working on that to make that better and more user-friendly, more easier to access things like codes and projects that the city will be doing. That's going to be a work in progress. If it happens with council approval, it probably won't be up and running until August, but we are in the midst of changing that. So you'll see some new things on that. But as far as the website right today, Paul Teicher, the Public Works Director, wanted me to remind people that the street sweepers will start tomorrow on April 4th in the AM. That's on our website also. Volunteers for Recycling Day is Saturday, April 29th at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. I know I'm going to volunteer out there, help you get your stuff all situated. So that's also on the website. Dog regulations is also on the website, being posted to let people know. And as Rich mentioned, if you don't want your dog, if you don't want someone's dog pooping in your yard, don't have your dog pooping in their yard. It's pretty much common sense. Carry a plastic bag, carry a leash, make it easier for the police not to have to run down everybody about dogs. That'd be nice. Neighborhood Watch Program. I know Mr. Muehlbauer's alluded to this. Mr. Bauer, rather. This is on a city website too. So there's volunteer for captains in the neighborhood and stuff like this. One of the things we're going to do with the website is make it more user-friendly, like I say, but more action, more eye-grabbing. So you'll see some different changes there. Just some things we're doing, little things are big things. That's one of the things we can correct a little easier than the water rates, but we are on the water rates. I bring this up at every meeting. I'll continue bringing it up till I age another year or two. Roundabouts, please signal your turn when you exit the roundabout so people know that they can enter. When you're going, if you don't signal, people have to wait and yield to you or rush to get in. I don't want to see an accident there. So please signal your turn when you're exiting. Let somebody else know to enter is safe. I think that's about it as far as I can see. Once again, you're going to see some things coming forth and what we can get out quicker and all that. But as I've stated before, and the council has here, and I appreciate you coming out and letting the staff and letting the city know that you're concerned about these water rates. You know, people, whether you call or not, whether you email or whatever, and as I've stated before, emails are we will respond to emails, we'll respond to phone calls, we won't ignore you, okay? We're not going to run away from an issue, we're going to grab it and see what we can do with it. But it's a new way of thinking here, and I think it's important to let you know that we are governing for you and we work for you. It's a big thing for us. We sat in that area and that's what we wanted to hear, and now we're telling you like it is. Anything else?
I was just curious with the work session, that's Monday at City Hall at what time?
5:30.
5:30.
Okay, let's see. That's about all I can say. Anything else from anyone? There's anybody? Staff, anybody? That's it? Sunday liquor we'll be discussing at the work session. Okay, just let everybody know something like that. Okay. Angie, you got something to say, please?
Have you guys discussed any more about changing the,
Oh, come up to, Scott says come up to the podium, state your name and address, yes. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Angie Bright, if you need my address, I can tell you. Have you discussed changing the times for the meeting at all?
That's at the work session coming up,
Oh, good.
okay? Okay. All right, Brian, any other further discussion? I adjourn this meeting at 7:52.